Hey, welcome to Ask a Pro. Every week I bring you somebody that's a professional in their space so that I can ask them questions so that maybe you and I can get a little, what my boy Tim Story says, a little notch up. Russell Whitney today with expert mentor. This guy, I mean, if you haven't heard his story, it's awesome. He helps businesses build their marketing, sales systems, course writing, mentorship, coaching. He's in the process of co-authoring a book right now with who?
Kevin Harrington.
Okay, Kevin Harrington. He's worked with Dean Graziosi. Yeah, I never know how to say his name, man, but I've seen him on TV enough.
Yes.
Tony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki, President Donald Trump. What'd you do with the Prez?
I got to speak on main stage with him to 10,000 people in arena. So back when there was a company out there that was doing stadium
events. Learning
events.
Annex?
Yes, correct. Learning Annex at that time. So I actually used to speak before Anthony Robbins, and then Foreman would follow up after me, and then Trump right after that. So it was an amazing experience. At 24 years old.
So I really appreciate you being here today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's awesome. And I know you got a long backstory of being somebody that comes from a family that works with big, not concerts. These are big self-improvement audiences.
Experts, yes. So my family developed and got into the seminar business many, many years ago. My father was one of the first real estate gurus on TV after, I think it was '84 when Reagan lifted the laws. Russ Whitney.
Okay,
so
Russ
my
Whitney.
father, Russ Whitney, Building Wealth, How to Make Money in Real Estate, Cash Flow
We saw
Properties.
that on TV, right?
Yes, exactly. It was on TV for many, many years, and we developed a unique system where it's a model to a free event and a 3-day training, but then it went into advanced training. So what we did is actually we modeled after the colleges where you take a student through a step-by-step systematic process. It's kind of like you get your associates, your bachelor's, your master's, and doctorate's degree. So we had every single level of that. And then what happened is my father...
But the only difference is in college, there's no free event.
Exactly. Right? There is no free event.
And you did a free event.
You don't necessarily get the return on your investment either in college.
Yeah, because it takes 17 years, right?
Correct,
it takes
exactly.
like 6 years to get out of college.
Yes.
So I think 46% of all people that go to college are still in college at 6 years. It's like
some ridiculous amount. Right? I never went to college, so never had the desire to.
I did.
Yes.
You didn't miss anything. So I want to get into this whole thing about your family and everything.
Yes.
But I want to first focus on whether people are out there doing events or not.
Yes.
How important do you think it is for an individual to deliver something free in the beginning?
I think it's very important to show your content, to show your knowledge, your expertise, to position yourself properly as an expert. Most people don't know how to position themselves. So by doing a free event, you're positioning yourself, you're commanding yourself as an authority figure, plus people, as you know, buy out of like respect. They justify their purchase later with logic and reason. So you're building that like factor, you're showing your respect through credibility of what you're doing on stage and how you're presenting to your potential audience. And then obviously through that presentation, you're justifying your product, your solution, with logic and reason of why they should purchase the product.
That's good. That's good. So you say they buy. No, they don't buy on like and respect.
No, their first initial engagement is they buy out of like and respect. They justify their purchase later with logic and reason. However, a good presenter does logic and reason throughout their presentation, so they don't have to justify it. Yes. That's my part of what I teach trainers.
So I tell people, look, people buy, you sell them on emotion, but they're going to close on logic. You agree with that concept?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So the emotion piece is always built in there.
I want to do business with you. Now I'm looking for reasons to do business with you.
Exactly. And that emotion piece comes with that like factor. So I think when you're building that like, you're creating that emotional connection. And most people don't do that from stage. They don't create an emotional connection, or they don't even hit the emotional hot points for their client. They don't hit like that Maslow's hierarchy of needs when it comes to marketing and selling.
Okay, so there's a lot here. That's why I do Ask a Pro, because when you start talking to pros, real pros, like this dude right here, you can start going deep. So we're gonna go off track right now to go deep. And so explain what Maslow is. So
Maslow is a basically pyramid of needs, of safety,
and we don't know
security.
if he was right on this, but he was close.
Yes, exactly. So one of the biggest things that most people don't hit is the security, the safety factor, health factor, family needs, and their financial needs. So if you can hit all of those needs And that's what most people are looking for, really security at the end of the day, whether that's financial security, time freedom that they want to spend with their family, or that they want to get away and escape from a job when it comes to the financial education piece. You can look it up online. It's a really simple look up to follow.
So like when I'm 25 years old, Maslow basically is this one guy in his life could be at basic needs. I just want to eat, okay? So like at 25 years old, I'm broke. I just wanted to like get a little money so I could pay my bills. Basic.
Correct.
Fast forward 34 years, my needs today are a little different than they were then. My Maslow structure goes up. Hey, I want to actually give back. I want to help the world, right? So now I need a lot of money now. And a lot of authority. Yes. Exactly. So check out Maslow's needs. So maybe we'll include it in here as a little
Yes, that would be good. And a lot of presenters forget those pieces, or they're just too focused on themselves, and they're not focused on the product. They're not focused on creating the solution for whatever that problem or challenge is. A good trainer, a good presenter knows how to address every problem and every objection.
In the room, you mean?
In the room, exactly.
Or so, let's say I'm presenting to 5 people or 5,000 people. It's
same
the
thing. Same exact
So when
deal.
you talk about from stage.
From stage, yep.
We're on stage now.
Okay.
5,000 people in the room, that's a stage.
Yes.
I'm selling...
5 people's a stage, 1 person's a stage to me.
Okay.
So that's where most
one
people...
One person one-on-one is a stage,
That's a stage. That's a presence. That's a stage as well. So anytime that you're presenting your product, your good, your service, number one, I found good presenters know how to put every objection in there and overcome every objection so it doesn't even come a factor in the brain. Exactly. Initiate the objection.
Okay. I like the way you think, man, because that's exactly the way I think. I'm like, why wait for an objection when you already know? And by the way, if you don't know what the audience's objections are,
then you're not doing your job right.
You don't even know your job.
Right, exactly. You don't know your expertise, and you're not getting the information. So one thing that we do, and I teach trainers to do, obviously, is in their beginning stages, they think of the objections they personally had, and we go through some dry run-throughs, and you will always know, because your audience will tell you every objection. As you know, being in sales for many years, you've heard every objection, every story. You probably have it down to a science. You have exactly what rebuttals you need to come back with. You practice, you train, you drill, rehearse. I followed, I read the book, I read your objections book. It's amazing. So I do the same thing with all of my speakers and sales reps that I train. Is literally I have closing cards with every objection imaginable. I create a scenario with the objection. You know, it could be a single mother, 2 kids, working 2 jobs, only has this amount of money. How do you overcome the objection? How do you get to the time? How do you get them to take action? How do you get them to buy in a short amount of time? Because when you have an audience of, let's say, 100 people in the room, you do a call action of 497, you don't have time to sit there for 10, 20 minutes one-on-one and close. You have to be quick and get through each person.
You're pitching something at $500.
Correct.
Now, we got into this really quick, okay?
Yes.
A lot quicker than I thought we would. But so just back up a second. Think about you're in front of an audience, if you've ever seen somebody pitch an audience. Or you're in front of one person, and you just pitched a product for $500.
Correct.
What he's telling you now is you're going to now go through the room. You're going to look the room over and say, hey, maybe you're a single mother with 2 kids.
Yes, exactly.
You got a job, you got your hands full.
Right.
You can't, right? You got to have, like, to do that.
You got to have the stories.
Huh?
You have to have the stories. The third-party stories sell. So third-party stories or my own personal story sells. And when I'm positioning anything from stage, coming over time excuse, coming over money objections, coming over can't make a date of a certain training that you have, can't put the time, the dedication into
objections.
it. Time objections and money is the biggest one that I see. The biggest smoke screens, I would call them. And what I always like to do is overcome them, not just one time though. I overcome them 3 or 4 times. So I say
because you know that guy or gal's scared going back and forth.
Exactly. They're going back and forth, or maybe that first time that I said it, it didn't click or resonate with them. So I got to
looking at your jacket. They weren't paying attention.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know if I like the dude's jacket. I like him, but I don't know if I like his jacket. But I do like his jacket, but I don't know if I can trust him.
Yeah, that happens.
That happens
in every room, in every market space. The other thing is,
and the fact that you know that,
right?
Okay, like I know some of you out there are like, well, can an introvert do this?
Not
if you're an introvert. Not if you're introverted. If you're thinking about yourself. See, because Russ isn't thinking about himself right now. He's thinking about conveying a way of doing business.
Right, exactly.
The introvert is always thinking about themselves.
Yes, the introvert is. However, I know introverted people that I've trained to become very good and do this as well.
But at that moment, they're not introverted.
No, at that moment, when they hit the stage, they're a totally different person.
Right.
Even myself, at times, I'm introverted. I get off stage, I do my performance, and then I'm dead. It's like, don't, you know, it's not don't talk to me, but I'm so fried because I put so much of my energy into it, and it's what I really love is drawing, captivating that person in.
And just to establish some credibility here, for those of you who might be like, you know, stretching back or pinging back to like, can I trust this dude? This guy just stood in front of 90 people.
Yes.
And did how much money?
$1.4 million from stage.
$1.4 million. That's $16,000 per person from stage. And they didn't know you when you walked up there.
No, they didn't. So I positioned myself as actually, I went in, and part of this is something that we can teach you, where you could become a hired gun, a hired trainer for other companies that are out there.
Got to come up with a different name for hired gun.
For hired gun, well, a professional trainer.
Sounds attractive to me, man, but most people are like, I don't want to do that.
Right, well, for the ones that don't want to do that, obviously, they don't have to, but however, the ones that want to do it, there's plenty of people out there that can sell, convey a message, like, I mean, you got great sales guys here. They're doing one and done over the phone. Right. Imagine if they could do that to 500 people at one time, how much quicker your revenue would build up and how many more people you would get into your system as opposed to one and done at a time.
You're getting me aroused right
Yeah, so good.
And it's early in the morning.
That's what I love to do. So if I can get you going, I know this group will get going as well.
Show.
Yes.
Okay, so you're saying, okay, because I think there's people out there right now thinking, can I do this? Can I actually go on a stage? I mean, it's one of the greatest fears there is, public speaking.
Yes, it's one of the biggest fears. However, with the right training, I think anybody with the right trainer, the right expert, working with them, showing a step-by-step method and system, they can become good. They have to put the practice in.
But you're not talking about being a speaker.
No, I'm not just talking about being
doing what here?
An expert. So this is for experts that are in their market space. So as you know, there's plenty of experts that are out there. Yeah. Now there's real experts like yourself, myself, and then there's obviously the ones that are fake experts. I'm looking for real experts. What a lot of them have done is they wrote a book. So you know this, rating a book, you're not going to make millions of dollars from a book, meaning just selling one book, you're going to make, what, a couple dollars per book if you're lucky at the end of the day. Yeah. And most people that are self-published aren't even making that. So what most experts don't know how to do is, how do I take that book, how do I position it properly as the authority figure, how do I create packages, meaning how can I take this book, break it down into modules, package it properly on the internet. So like your Cardone U, which is fantastic, it's beautiful. You have it broken down into modules that they can follow, step-by-step, systematic, proven system that works, right? And then the other piece is creating coaching, creating mentoring programs where you can sell and command 5,000, 10,000, up to 100,000. I mean, I have a guy, I built his packages, mentoring programs that no name, you never probably heard of him before in your life, not even as big as you. And I sell $25,000 to $100,000 mentoring programs with this gentleman. And here's the other thing, is I duplicated him so he doesn't even have to do the mentoring himself. He has other mentors that we've trained that know his trade secrets, his techniques, and they go out and they do the mentoring. The only one he shows up for is the 100K mentoring. So
he comes in, we're back to the free thing now.
Yes.
He does the free, he's the draw?
He's the draw. So
I somebody guess else the draw?
It's two ways.
Yeah.
So one, if you're a trainer and you want to sell from stage, let's say it would be your brand. I'll just use you as an example. We would market you, come to the Grant Cardone free workshop. And then I would take myself or somebody else that's trained like me to sell you. And they're basically a Cardone, meaning we've duplicated you and we've taken you and we've put many speakers and trainers that live, breathe, eat everything you do, convey the message.
So Russ is giving you the insights to like Learning Annex, Success Resources.
Yes. Every flip or flop brand that you see out there, every real estate brand, Robert Kiyosaki, Tony Robbins, everyone. We created that model. I mean, the Rich Dad Education is actually a company we acquired. Rich Dad, perfect example, okay, about
Robert
positioning.
Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, they went around the country years ago.
So perfect part about positioning. He positioned himself with authority figure as a book. He wasn't making anything. He wasn't doing very well at all.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So all he had was a book and an idea, no back end, meaning no products, goods, and services. So what my father did was genius, and this is why I became an expert mentor, and this is where I got my training. I'd say I have a doctorate's degrees in seminars in expert mentoring. So Robert, when we acquired his brand, basically we put him into a plug and play system, meaning we put him into a free event. We sold them real estate education.
He showed up for that event?
No, he didn't even show up for that event. He
So
showed
you
up
used
for
his
the
name.
later event. We used him as positioning and posturing for later on, further down the road. This is where you'll meet him as at this level. Okay. And he would do 2 events a year. But what we did was use his face and his brand as the draw for the room. We would send him into a free event, then we would put him into a 3-day, and we had specialized packages that taught them the ins and outs of real estate investing and stock investing, which Robert is big in doing. We had all of this education and training built. My father built it. So he is an absolute genius at bringing in that duplication. That's who I learned from. This is what I grew up in since 81.
Your dad took a book and then expanded it into a bunch of products.
Correct.
So that, how important is it for the people watching to have a product lineup? Inventory of product.
Well, if you want to stay in business, you need to have at least probably 5 to 7 products or more that follow up your main product. If you have one service, you're done. I'm sure you know this in business. You got to have multiple products, goods, and services.
Look at my store.
Exactly, and I love that store. I mean, it's a perfect model of what an expert needs to see and realize is you have to come out with new content. You got to come out with new trainings that match the market space. And here's the beautiful piece where most experts do not understand where they can get their information from. Their current client base, their students. Your students call you, they call either A with, you're doing great, B, they say, I have a complaint, I have a void that I need filled. You can create a product, you can create a training course that fills that person's void. That's how we built all of our training and education programs in real estate, is we'd have a client saying, I need more on how do I manage my property. So we created a managing your real estate portfolio and properties. I need more on commercial real estate investing and land developing. So we created a 3-day training around that. These courses are $5,000 to $10,000. So we had 14 boot camps, and then we had mentoring programs, coaching programs. I mean, it went on for days. So it was a whole comprehensive breakdown of real estate investing.
There's Russell Whitney. You're watching Ask a Pro. I bring people like Russell into this studio to deliver to you pieces, parts, things, secrets. Okay, we're going to come back from break. All right, I'm going to ask him what I should be doing in my business. I'm going to be the thing. Let him fix my business, and maybe we can help you fix yours, all right? Stay with us.
100%.
Make 6 to 7 figures overnight as an expert in your industry. Monetize your knowledge, monetize everything you work for, and make it work for you. Russell Whitney, expert in knowledge monetization, has worked with some of the largest brands, Robert Kiyosaki, Tony Robbins, Kevin Harrington, and George Foreman, in building out content that made them kings of their space. Scale your business to a 9-figure brand, sell from stage, create events, build the sales team, and get moving right now on your greatest expansion in business yet. Visit russellwhitney.com. That's russellwhitney.com to get started. Sammy and Lauren Rebstock are looking for individuals motivated to be a part of a team and have a great opportunity to expand by becoming part of a global movement and changing their financial condition. Make upwards of 6 figures and get a job, a career, and a lifestyle that will change your life and give you financial freedom. Sign up now at explorelifevantage@gmail.com. That's explorelifevantage@gmail.com. With over 50 years of combined experience, Sistel Technology is a major telecommunications company focused on getting you the correct service you need and nothing more. We are the best in the marketplace and the best in the world, and we can guarantee that. From cabling to IP telephones, we link your whole team together so that you can communicate, grow, expand, and never worry about communication issues. Not doing business with us will cost you millions, so let's get you set up with the most trusted, the most ethical company in telecommunications, Sistel Technology. Learn more at sisteltechnology.com. That's sisteltechnology.com.
Hey, welcome back to Ask a Pro. I have Russell Whitney today with me. Expertmentor.com is his website. He comes from like I can't come up with names today.
A gene pool.
A gene pool. I'm a guinea pig. I used to be a hamster. Today, I'm going to have Russell work with me on how to position, repackage my brand, promote myself, and become a partner and collaborate with other people.
100%.
I think a lot of people, Russell, are wondering, How do I get an audience? Grant's got an audience already.
Yes.
But how do they get an audience? Like, how do they get started?
So with today's market space, it's way easier. Years ago, when we didn't have social media, I mean, it's TV, buying an infomercial, a lot of money. Creating an infomercial, a lot of money. With podcasts, with doing YouTube, Twitter, with doing Instagram Live, Facebook marketing is easy to do. My wife, just so you know, learned how to market on Facebook and is getting registrations under $20 for my free event. So she's doing all of it.
Registrations?
Meaning somebody registering for my free event in their local market space. Most people are
for
spending
under $20. You're spending less than $20.
Spending less than $20. Most people
but I know
spend
people that complain about $50 and $100. They complain about $20.
Exactly.
I'm like what he was talking about, the infomercial, for you to get your name known 15 years ago, you would have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on TV ads.
Yes.
And then there was probably, they even told you when you did the deal, there's a 99% chance
you're not going to make
this will fail.
Yeah. 1% of infomercials, I believe, used to make it. So if you didn't have the right product and positioning or money and backing, and you couldn't make the tweaks in real time, meaning when those dial-ins are coming in, what's that hot point, watching those pieces, you have to be very meticulous. And I mean, I've built and been around that. So I've helped a big name out there that has an infomercial right now. He had a $70 CPR, so that means cost per registration. I tweaked his infomercial, dropped it down to 35. If you're under 50 on TV, you're having a great day. So to be at 35 is absolutely amazing.
So just to break down what you're saying, is if you're getting leads, you spent X 100,000, and he would have gotten 350 leads that converted.
Correct. So they would convert into a registration.
Probably,
yeah, 35. So 35. Yeah, 3,500.
Yeah, 3,500.
So I think about so 1,000 registrations. So 35,000. Yes, correct. Yeah. So what we want to do is show you how to get obviously the lowest cost per registration you can. However, what most people don't understand is depending on what marketing avenue or stream that you're using, what you're going to want to do is dissect that lead afterwards and see where the upsell comes from. So I could be getting a $20 lead, but it's not converting. But I could be getting a $100 lead that is bringing me a return of $1,000. So is it better for me to spend 20 on a bunch of leads that are not good, or 100 on quality leads? So we do that, and we teach in our system, how do you backtrack properly and back into the numbers of what marketing dynamic works. So the big thing I would say right now is social media. This last month, this is the first time in history that internet has had more ad spend than TV. Meaning more people have placed ads on the internet, they've spent more money on the internet than TV infomercials. I mean, TV's pretty much dead in today's market space. It can still work, and it does, but I would say social media is the way to go.
So what you're saying then is, if I don't have a name, one of the ways for me to get out there is using social media.
Correct. I mean, look at Tai Lopez. Nobody knew who this guy was 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Social media has built him a huge following. He's consistent. He puts up ads. I mean, when he started, I know a little bit more deeper on his background story, a little bit more of where he got the money. I won't disclose that. However, what he did is he used a great funding program that I have, and he really positioned himself well by doing videos, creating a target audience that he went after.
Did you see the interview I did with Tai?
Yeah, I did. Okay, it was a great interview.
But look,
it's a marketing tactic.
This is what you can say about Tai. Tai gets attention, and I say it all the time. Look, without attention, money will not follow. Money follows attention. Wherever the attention goes, the money follows. So
he's doing great.
Russell Whitney. Why do you call yourself Russell Whitney, the expert mentor? What does that mean? What is an expert mentor?
What an expert mentor is I take experts like yourself, I mentor them on their current products, goods, and services, and help them channel it to different market space. One, I help them position themselves properly as an authority figure through the marketing channels, then package their products properly. So most of these experts have one product, one book. I want to create multiple products, multiple upsells. And then how to promote that product properly. And if you, let's say you're not an expert, that's one thing people are going to ask. Oh, I'm not an expert, I can't bring it. I actually have a part of my system in my expert mentor program of how you can actually go out and find experts, get behind them, support them, promote them, and push them along the way. So it's called partnering. I actually, this one guy I've trained is amazing. He doesn't want to be an expert. He goes and hunts online all day long for me, finding experts, vetting the experts, bringing them to me, and then what I do is I help them build their business, and I give them a little slice of the pie.
He just wants to make money.
Yeah, he might get 1%, 2%, 2 points of whatever business we do.
He's a business pimp.
Yeah, persuading, influencing,
cool.
motivating people.
Right? So one way, and what Russell's saying right here, I think, is like when I did my 10X Growth Conference and I brought in 24 speakers.
Right.
Those people, by the way, the first day I brought in people, JJ, Bobby Castro, those people that I brought in, nobody knew their names.
No.
Everybody knows their names now. Okay?
Right, of course.
I mean, some of those guys are getting coaching requests. Hey, can you coach me? Can you work with me? Can you consult my business?
Yes.
The next 2 days, we brought in experts.
Right.
Most of which each booked 8 and 9 speaking gigs.
Okay.
As a result of being
on your stage.
Because I promote so
Of
heavily,
course, yeah.
right?
Yes, exactly.
So
can you get a slice of that pie?
I didn't want any of that, okay?
Well, that's good.
Okay. I didn't ask for any of that just because I wanted, first of all, those guys came as
favor
gifts to me. Oh,
nice.
Yeah, favors. Again, I'm short on words today, man. I don't know what's going on. So, but it is a way for like Danielle Delgado to come on stage and get a big lift.
Yes. Yes.
Get known into an audience.
You position that person now as an authority figure because you've created so much authority online. You've created a following, almost a cult following, which is great, and that's what you want. Now you've taken that person, you position them as an authority figure. Now the problem is some of those people that are positioned as authority figures say, now what do I do? Now where do I go with it? If they're not an expert.
What products do I have? Because that's what a lot of them hit up against.
Right.
What products, a buddy of mine came on stage and I'm like, what's your product? He's like, $19?
Right.
I'm like,
or even services.
I don't have enough people here for $19 to ever work.
Yes.
No, it's not going to work. There's only like 3,000 people in the room.
Right.
You know? So 3,000, if everybody buys something.
It's still not a moneymaker at the end of the day. You have to command the right price. So part of the packaging of what we do in the Expert Mentor is we help them package and position their pricing too properly. So there is a theory to a low front end cost, bringing that person in free or low front end ticket. And then once they get around you in your environment, just like those guys that went to a free event, now people are requesting them for coaching or for mentoring all day long. What we would have done is had them structured beforehand. So when those calls came in, it would have been easy to say, yes, I have a 5,000 coaching, a 10,000, a $25,000
Okay,
mentoring.
so let's take me. Let's just make $1 million right now.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, you're going to take Grant Cardone, the expert.
Yes.
Let's me and you map out how to make $1 million.
Okay.
Let's take the Millionaire Booklet. You want to take that program?
Sure.
Let's say I'm going to do an event. I'm doing an event. I'm going to do an event in. I'm going to do my boot camp in 2 weeks.
Okay. The sales boot camp.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now that's not a free event.
Yes. What did they pay?
$5,000.
Okay.
It's $6,000. We're doing it for $5,000.
Okay.
We're giving away one ticket to the 10X Growth Conference.
Okay.
And I'm giving away a hotel. I'm taking care of the
hotel
free. In both locations.
Okay, that's good. All right, and the ticket for the 10X Growth Con value?
$2,500.
$2,500. Nice.
I mean the value.
Yeah, the value, of course it is. I mean, it's invaluable.
Yeah,
the price is $2,500.
Yeah.
So,
folks, I hope you're picking up all the gold right now.
What do you have built for after that? Anything?
Right now, let's assume that we don't have anything.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Let's say nothing.
Okay, so
now this is different than your model because your model would be free.
Well, I do both. Not necessarily always free. That's just one strategy to fill up rooms. If you're maybe not an authority figure yet, you may not be able to command that price yet. So fill up a free event, create that like factor, and then get the buy-in, right?
Okay.
But now you've positioned, since you have a great following online, you can command $5,000 for your boot camp. However, when you're delivering that boot camp, it's a 3-day or 4-day?
3 days.
Okay, so for 3 days, these guys are going to sit there in a room. You're going to content overload them. There's no way that they're going to leave there and be able to hammer everything out, right? They know that.
So you're already handling one of their concerns right now.
Exactly.
So he's moving into product fulfillment.
Correct.
So I'm going to help break down what's going on here because this guy's a genius.
And I would be addressing that on day one. So if I was the person putting on the boot camp, I'd say, how many of you know all 3 days, everything I teach
probably
you?
First hour.
First hour,
could 100%. Be the opener.
First 20 minutes.
Hey, let me tell you, you're going to forget almost everything I tell you here.
Exactly. I mean, you retain what, maybe 20% of the information, whatever the butt can.
Well, you typically retain what you agree with.
True. Yes.
That's the big retainer. They talk about the retainment thing, but the reality is most people just, they remember what they already agreed with when they came in the room, which means there's no change.
Yes, I like that.
You ever notice people taking notes?
Yeah.
They're taking notes on stuff they already agree with.
Yes.
And miss all the gold. That's why I interrupt.
That's okay.
I told Lewis House,
that.
I said, Lewis, I wish I could do an interview like you do because you never interrupt anybody. But I interrupt because I'm picking up stuff.
I like it, yes.
Yeah, so
I like the interrupt because it helps me to give you the information and the audience the information they truly need. Yeah. So the boot camp, one of the biggest things that I would do is I would obviously address that you're not going to retain all this information. How many of you know that? Get an agreement from the audience. Everyone buys into it. And I'm going to start positioning right from day one. You need a coach, you need a mentor. I mean, you could take all of this information, 3 days, go home. Are you going to be effective? Are you going to be the top seller? No, not necessarily.
I just made $1 million. You guys don't know it. I just made $1 million on my event.
Yes.
I'm sitting here saying, get Jared in here right now.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay?
So
because what he's telling you right now is exactly what I do in my webcasts, webinars.
Right.
Okay.
So
you notice what I do in my webinars. I open the webinar with the offer.
Right.
I don't wait until the end.
Exactly.
Russell's telling you to do. Open this thing with what you're going to do and what the client needs.
Yes, you show them what you're going to sell them, you tell them what you're going to sell them, and you retell them again what you're going to sell them.
Say it again.
You show them what you're going to sell them, you tell them what you're going to sell them, and then you show them again what you're going to sell them. So when I'm on stage, again, most trainers, speakers, presenters, they wait all the way till the end to do this big stack close. You're going to get $80 million worth of value for $2 today or whatever it is. For me, I don't necessarily believe in that huge stack.
I'm 100% with you.
Let's just give quality information. If you give a good discount, great, but it doesn't have to be BS. I mean, people read that today. And first thing I do is, how many of you, I just ask permission. How many of you, first off, know I'm going to sell you something? They all buy in, of course, haha. And do I have your permission to show you my offer? Do I have your permission to sell you a product or good or service? Once everybody agrees to it, it's open, right? So I position right away the product that they're going to need. They're going to need coaching. They're going to need mentoring. I mean, the sales boot camp, and being in sales
when you're doing this now, Russell, okay, let's say you're coming, let's say you're doing my boot camp. You're my opener. Let's say you're my opener, okay?
Right.
And you're going to be like, hey, you guys, we're gonna sell you something else.
Of course,
while we're here, okay? Yeah. Now I'm asking for permission to do this. Are you feeling the ridges and the resistance in the room? Yeah. Some people
yes, of course.
Sell me something.
You're going to have people that are like that with their guard up, and that's okay. Yeah. But
those
eventually,
are buyers, though, right?
They're your best buyers. You know, they're always your best buyers, and that's the thing that most people don't know.
This is not closed. This is, dude. Look, I can't wait. Come on, let's roll. I'm trying to protect myself. He's not blocking you. He's trying to hold himself back from giving you the card right now.
And that person that's going like this and jumping all around is not necessarily a buyer.
You got to wonder about him. You know that card's going to decline.
Exactly.
I want to go.
The other speakers always say, oh, you get paid in laughs. Funny is money. No, that's not true. I don't believe funny is money. Obviously, yes, you got to connect the audience, make them laugh. But if they laugh too much, they're paying you in laughs. We're not comedians. We're conversions at the end of the day. So we need to convey that message.
The real dudes are not going to spend a lot. They're not there for that.
No, exactly. Real, true trainers like yourself. In mind.
So then there's the whole issue of trainers, experts, real business people.
Closers.
You've been around them all.
Yes, for sure. So here's the thing.
We won't go there right now. But
that's okay. One of the things I wanted to get to is making $1 million at your boot camp and getting that done. So
let's say this product's $50,000. I'm just trying to figure out right now before.
Okay.
At what point? Well, or 100.
Okay, so here's
At what point are you going to tell them how much it's going to be?
All right, so here's what I did. You see Dolmar back there. He's one of my business partners, all right? We have a company. We're both born on the same day, which is pretty interesting. And
that's weird.
His wife and my father are both born on the same day. Really cool. So Ebony and Ivory is our deal. However, I went into Dolmar's event, and Dolmar I've been pushing to do an event. He does real estate, flips properties, amazing investor. And literally in probably 20 minutes of me being on stage, I positioned him as authority. I told him the product, and I got everybody to agree they would pay $50,000 to work with him one-on-one. He had 16 people in the room, did $200,000 in gross. And I positioned that within 20 minutes, literally flew on a plane, landed, walked on stage, 20, 30-minute deal that I did, got everybody, positioned his product in a matter of minutes, got out, got on a flight, left. He called me up and he said, Russell, you did like 30 ninja things from there. My guys in the back of the room were just amazed at what you did, and we did $200,000 in sales. And he's never really sold from stage or done an event before.
So what did you do, man?
So, okay, the good part of what I did is I positioned him as an expert. So you're an expert, and I would position your Jared, okay, and the other gentleman that I worked with, that's the farm boy. What's his name?
Farm boy.
Steve Sprague. So let's say those are your two sales closers that are your, we duplicated grants. Basically, you've duplicated and made multiple grants, right? So now I would have two different packages. One, you could work with the two experts that you have, meaning Jared in a one-on-one or coaching calls, and Steve in a one-on-one and coaching calls, and I would sell that product for $10,000 to $15,000. And then I would have a $50,000 product that included either one of those with you as well, and or even $100,000, because at the end of the day, you know your time is value. You know your training, your expertise, and what you have will get that person to convert if they put in the work. That's the big part. Do they put in the work after you teach them? So with you,
do you talk about that at the event? Hey,
putting in the work?
Put in the work?
Of course, yeah. I tell them that. You know, I guarantee the system works. I can't guarantee you work at the end of the day.
Because
if people buy a
everybody
product,
knows that, though, man.
You would think so, but a lot of people buy a product and think, with a real estate product, they think they're going to buy it and it's just going to be done for them, and a duplex is going to pop in their driveway the next day. You know, it does take serious work, time, energy, and effort. And I tell people that most of them, a lot of these gurus that are out there will say, oh, it's simple, it's easy, it doesn't take a lot of time. Well, if that's your buy-in, then you're not getting the right quality student that's going to give you a solid testimonial. I want somebody that's dedicated to put the work, time, energy, and effort in, and will follow my system and will become successful. I want success stories. I don't want people to just buy to buy.
Money, because you know that ends pretty quick.
Exactly. So what I did is I weave right away. How many of you believe that if you had Jared working with you in a one-on-one atmosphere, let's say for 3 days, right in your sales office with your sales team, how many of you in here would agree Jared could increase your sales by 50, 100% of what you're doing right now if he would work with you? And how many of you would say that investment, I have no problem giving you $50,000 for the investment because it could bring you $1 million plus in return? Let me see your hands. Every single hand's going to go up in the room. That's a no-brainer.
We haven't even started the event yet.
We haven't even started the event. Haven't even started the content.
Okay,
haven't even started the training.
Let's say that I wanted to do this rather than do it, because I mean, I know the coaching is very popular, the one-on-one.
Yes.
It is very, very laborious.
Yes. But you got to duplicate.
Well, what if I duplicated everything online? And what if it was grant right from the get-go?
Brilliant, and I love it. And that's going to appeal to a certain audience, but why not have somebody that wants to invest a higher amount for that time and get that one-on-one?
Why do you think that the other thing has to be a lower amount?
It doesn't have to be a lower amount, but I believe that somebody is going to see that value of that one-on-one connection.
Diminished if it's not.
Correct. Because most people, one of the biggest challenges I think is most people watching a video online to where they're having the challenge. And again, your sales system is great. I love it. I love the tests. I love every piece. What if I'm in a real live scenario on a call? You can't in that sales system overcome that through an internet connection. Does that make sense? Meaning I have an objection. What if Jared's there listening into my call?
Well,
and then he can stop and he can say. If you knew what the
material was, you could actually pop into, it's a 16-second video. I mean, what are you going to do? Call me on the phone? Hey, Grant, get over here right now?
No, I'm not saying call you on the phone. I'm saying you would use one of your experts, somebody that we would train that knows your skill, that knows your experience, that would go to these office spaces and train with their team for 3 days and duplicate that piece. I'm not saying you have to do it. That's far from what I'd want you to do, because obviously you have a huge focus on your time. So what I do is I duplicate experts and we create. You would be surprised at how many people would love to go out there and mentor and basically do this for local businesses, do it for professionals, investors, and help create success stories for you.
They want to be the coach. They don't want to be the player.
Exactly. They want to be the coach. That's their gig. And they're good at it at the end of the day. They may not be the best closer in the world, but they're a great coach. They can see where you're missing your pieces.
So we're going to have 100 people at this boot camp. How do I make my $1 million?
Very simple. I mean, with 100 people at that boot camp, you could easily project you want to get at least 15,000, well, at least 10,000 per head in the room. And you got to look at your packages. So you want to back into your package.
You think I sell everybody something?
I think you try to sell everybody something in the force.
But
at the end of the day, yes. You're not going to get everybody, but if your packages are priced properly, you will hit that $1 million. If you have $25,000, $50,000 packages, there's no way you can't hit that $1 million.
So what do you think my packages would be then?
One is,
and I'm asking for me.
Right.
So you need to think about, you're doing a room. You got 100 people to show up, or you got 50, or you got 10.
Right. So do they have Cardone?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. So one is I would have that in there.
Okay.
The full open version. Second piece I would have is a coaching contact and call, meaning they could do a once a week call or training call with one of your experts and teams. The other piece I would have in there is I would send out one of their experts to the office.
In-house,
see the environment, see what's going on. As you know, these sales floors, a lot of times the environments are not great.
Yeah.
They have their team showing up looking like, they just woke up out of bed. They're not creating that energy. They're not creating that excitement. They're not selling their closers on the phone of why to promote this product. They're not getting them juiced at the end of the day. So if you send somebody like Jared out there, or you send somebody like Steve out there that can show them how to do that and get the team to buy into the company and support, people are going to invest in that. And then how do they duplicate it? So, okay, Jared, great, you went in there and did it, but I need to also take over and do it for my team. So he gives that one-on-one coaching, gives that one-on-one training and time to the person that's either managing the floor or owns the floor or the sale house.
And then what's the next level?
Okay, so the next level would be a mentorship program with you. Exactly. And that would be probably 50,000 plus, honestly. You could probably command 100,000 for this because of your knowledge, experience. And what I would do is give everything below that included into it.
And then, okay, and you would, at this package level, you would include everything.
Everything.
So
I'd give them everything.
And what do I need to deliver in that package? Or
so
in this case, what are you going to have to, because you're going to have to over deliver, folks.
Right. So this
isn't Russell doesn't sell $1 million worth of products on stage and then nobody delivers anything. No. They'll never go to another set.
I love what you said the one time about over promise, over deliver, not this under promise, over deliver. After that helped me out a lot because I was trained that at one point in time.
Under promise.
Under promise, over deliver. And I said, screw that. That's how I hit that 1.4. Over promise and we're over delivering.
Overclaim, man. Overclaim.
And
by the way, if you're a good person, if you make an overclaim, you will always fill it and exceed it.
Exactly.
Always. If you're an ethical person, by the way, 99% of all people are ethical.
Right.
So you could be off a little bit right now. If you're not selling, you're not closing, you're not ethical.
Right.
Something happened somewhere along the line and you quit pushing your product.
Right.
Could have happened in the beginning.
You lost your belief.
You lost your belief. Or you started pitching something, by the way, pitching something you don't believe in is unethical.
Exactly. I agree with that.
So if you fully believe in it, you would lean into it. You would pitch it up front.
Right.
You wouldn't spend 4 hours getting to the price.
No.
That's an old scam,
10 minutes.
man. All those guys back in the days, man. Oh, spend 4 hours presenting the pots and pans or
it's crazy to me.
The billboards. You know why? Because they didn't believe in their own products, so they had to do a bunch of da.
And I learned that way originally. I created, and a lot of people don't know this, is I actually created that first close within the first 10 minutes on stage. No speaker was ever doing it out there. And it was a bet that I had against another trainer that was in my same atmosphere. He was doing a sale, meaning everybody was done in 45 minutes. And the guy said, you can't get it done quicker. You can't get people to the back of the room quicker. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to try it and test it. I did my offer in the first 10 minutes and said, if you want it, go back and buy. And people stood up, boom, went right to the back and buy. I mean, a lot of people already know they're ready to buy. They're there. So why not get your laydowns out of the way so you can focus on the guys in the ladies in the room that you need to convert.
He used the word called laydowns, really, but what he really means by that is the people that are already ready.
Right.
I've been at charity events before where they just keep going on and on and on. I'm like, guys, I was ready when I walked in.
Right.
I was thinking, am I going to give 100 grand, 200 grand, 300 grand? And then you guys went on forever, and I gave 10.
Right.
And I only gave the 10 now because I just wanted to leave.
Right. You wanted to buy your way out of the door.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, just consider your room. This is what I'm hearing Russell say. There's a single woman in there with 2 kids.
Right.
There's a guy in there that bought a program 6 months ago, and he didn't use it.
Right, didn't work for him.
There's a guy that's never bought a program before. Okay, there's a guy that thinks $500 is a lot of money. There's another guy that thinks $500 is too little money.
Right.
You got to know every conversation going on internally in that room because they're not going to have it with you. This is not a one-on-one.
Right.
There's a one-on-many.
Right.
Right. So,
and it takes time to learn that, but we teach you that in the system. So that's the good piece. Is I help a lot of trainers with that. I mean, I've had to retrain trainers that have been doing it 20 years. Guys that I looked up to, and then after I started doing it and putting in the work and really dedicating to dissecting a presentation, these guys were all coming to me saying, Russell, can you train me on what you're doing? Can you show me what you're doing? And it brought their closing percentages up. They were amazed at that 10-minute. We made it standard in the industry for our 7 brands we had at one time. Standardized, everybody in the first 20 minutes had to do the offer because it created more conversions. So going back to what you initially were saying with yours on 50,000 and what you would have to deliver, 100,000 what you'd have to deliver. Obviously, you're going to give them everything underneath, but I would give them a certain amount of coaching calls with you and mentoring sessions.
So the last package would include everything.
Right. And what I would do is include everything. I wouldn't have you traveling because that's not worth your time. To fuel up a plane, to get on a plane, travel 5 hours to go to somebody's office space is not going to be worth it. The good thing is you have Jared, you have Steve, and others that can go do that and take it. So your coaching calls would be laid out in, let's say, four half hours or maybe 5 1 hours, however we would figure that out. So it justifies your time. And I would do it on a Zoom meeting or a Skype call where the entire room, meaning their sales floor, their sales force, can see you on camera teaching and conveying your message, and they can ask you questions live in that real time. I mean, that's a huge amount. I mean, I would invest in that all day long.
Let's say that me and you do something where we're gonna do a free event.
Yes.
Or let's say I'm gonna do it in. Let's say I do it with Success Resources or Learning Annex, or me and you do a deal, right?
Yeah, we do a deal.
So and I'm the free card going in.
Easy.
Okay. People will show up.
Okay.
What do we offer there?
I would say, okay, so one of the biggest things that people are looking for in today's market space is financial literacy. School systems has failed us. It's the biggest scam in the world. We all know that. But people are still buying into that scam all day long. And for me, I think your financial literacy and creating a financial literacy training is where it's at. I don't think it's just sales. I do believe in sales. I agree with you completely. However, there's a lot of people
are interested in money than they are in sales.
Exactly. More people are interested in passive income, rental properties, investment properties, marketing online. I mean, you got a genius marketing team here that could help them take their product, good, or service, internet marketers that they could train. They could be on this show. So what I would do is I would do a financial literacy workshop. I would come in, I would teach them about multiple revenue streams and everything that you do. I would offer a 3-day training. Now at that training,
so I'm doing am I doing it?
No, you're not doing
the pitch?
No,
Never.
I would do the pitch. Or somebody like me would do the pitch.
Am I there?
Nope, you're not there. About it? No, you don't even have to show up. So that's the beautiful piece. Robert Kiyosaki doesn't show up.
You don't want me to show up. What if I want to show up?
I don't want you to show up. And here's why.
You don't want me to show up.
Because once somebody...
Don't you talk like that to me.
I don't want you to show up at that event. And here's why. When people meet the flesh, and that's all they're coming for, there's not necessarily that carrot to dangle later on. Does that make sense? So you going there is a great amount of power. However, what's going to happen is if I go on stage, it depends. Are you going on stage or is somebody like me going on stage? What would you like?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
Okay. So for me, what I would say, and here's what I found over the years, is a lot of experts don't know how to sell themselves or position themselves properly.
Totally.
And let's say you're that expert. I found even experts that do, when they bring in somebody like myself or other trained speakers that I have in my Rolodex, which is huge, they can sell you better than you can sell yourself. And it's because that third party story, they're creating, I wouldn't want to say putting you in an ivory tower.
But that's your job, that's your hat.
Exactly.
That's what your focus is.
That's what their focus is, that's what they do, that's their career. But the other thing is they're positioning and commanding you. It's a lot better when somebody talks about you and toots your horn as opposed to you tooting your own horn. At least that's what social environment thinks.
And then if we can both toot together,
exactly,
we
it's
make
great.
Some music and some money.
What I would say is on that event, and how I would do it is having a trained speaker go up there, do a presentation, send them to a 3-day. Now we could say you could show up at the 3-day. I do that with Kevin Harrington and another brand right now. He doesn't go to the front and they use him as the marketing piece. They drive him into a room and then they sell him a $597 ticket to go to a 3-day. Kevin Harrington will be there. He shows up.
How many people are going to go to that
probably about 100 people. At the last one we just did, over 100 people. They did $1 million there at that event.
So 100 people 60 grand showed up.
So at the free event, they sold 100 tickets at $597 to the next
to
thing.
the 60. So that produced 60,000.
Correct. And at that 3-day event,
only pays the hotel.
Only pays the hotel and marketing at the end of it. You're at a loss a lot of
you're
times there,
loss,
but that's okay because you're going to make the gain on the back end. I mean, most people are at a loss on the front end. The back end is where you make your money.
This is where it gets scary now.
Yes.
Bring in Russell Whitney. Because
you're out of money right now.
You've done 2 events right now. You've done 2 events. That's why so many people fail in this space. Okay?
Right.
Like I see so many guys and gals go out, oh, I'm going to leave Grant. I'm going to go work for myself. I'm going to do this deal. You don't have the budget. You don't have the payroll. You don't have the connections. You burnt your bridges.
Right.
You know, you don't even have the information. You don't have the inventory.
Right.
So let me just wrap this up.
Don't have the fulfillment. Don't have the merchant.
I want people to reach out to Russell.
Right.
All right. If you want to play this game's called the expert game, whatever that game is. There's a lot of freaking frauds out there. I'm going to tell you something. If it's not showing up at the bank, there's something you hadn't figured out.
Well, we vet, if we're going to work with somebody, so part of what we do too is we work with experts and we help them. You can buy the system, of course, go through it. But what I'm looking for is experts that I can work with and help mentor.
Yeah.
If I can't see and vet the person, I'm not going to take the deal because I don't want to work with somebody that's a phony at the end of the day. I want to work with real deal guys that are truly making money because that's part of the presentation, and I don't lie from stage.
You can feel good about.
That I can feel good about, and I don't want to lie from stage, and I don't want anybody else lying from stage.
Yeah.
You know, I want to be able to convey the truth, the message, and show real results in real time of what somebody's doing in the market space. So it's an easier buy-in. People know in your audience when you're lying or not. 100%, they know. And I've watched trainers go up there that lie all day on stage and they bomb every single time. Or they may get good sales, but they high refund rate. High refund rate that a lot of people don't ever look at and realize. Or they sell off of a guarantee. They're weak trainers at the end of the day. I want to build good trainers, and I want to work with real good experts that I can help out bring up their brand. So I have a team.
I know we've gone a little long here, but
that's okay.
So you got a problem with the guarantee? Because I don't really have a problem with the guarantee.
No, I don't have a problem with the guarantee. I have a problem with the guy that...
The guarantee as the close.
That's it, and that's all they do. It's guarantee, guarantee, guarantee. And they have no other sales strategy. Those always end up in result in refunds because that person is so focused on that guarantee as opposed to the product. Right. That's not what you want them always focused on at the end of the day. I do believe in a guarantee and positioning a guarantee properly. I just don't believe in every other word is guarantee this, guarantee that. Those guys are the ones I don't believe.
Number one reason people don't buy in these events.
Number one reason people don't buy besides money?
Number one reason.
Okay. I would say the number one reason would be they don't have the funds for your program. So I've created a solution for that with a funding company that I have where I help fund students that have the right credit criteria where I can get them 25 to 150,000 unsecured lines of credit, 0% interest, 12 to 24 months. And average client gets 80,000. Average client gets 0% at 18 months.
Did you do this at that $1.4 million thing?
Yes. Of course.
So you funded some of that?
Yes, of course.
Oh, that's cool. So, I need to talk to you about that.
We provided the funding, and we do it for a lot of the companies that are out there. The great thing is this money is not just, say, secured for that product. They can use it for anything. That's the beautiful piece about these funds. So,
but if they gave it to you, how can they use it for anything else?
Well, what I like to do is, number one, when they give me money, I don't ever take anybody's last dollar. I want to make sure that person, if it's a real estate investing system or if it's an internet marketing program, I want to make sure they have money left over that they can put into their marketing, that they can put into their real estate deals, and actually make the program work. You know,
I think the number one reason people don't buy at these events is because they don't think they're going to use it, and everything else is just cover. Because if you knew for sure,
I would agree.
I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I got to check with so and so. If you knew this was a miracle,
okay. So on the money side,
if you knew, hey, boom, it's going to work.
They would buy.
If you knew you were going to win that lottery ticket,
right?
You'd run across town. You'd run through state lines.
Yes.
You'd run over your mama.
That's true.
If you knew for sure.
Yes. If you knew for sure 100% the system would work. I think that is the number one thing at these events that you could be telling people. Look, there's only one real reason you won't do this. Right. And
if you can like solidify that.
Correct.
And make that person feel more certain.
Right.
And that's what I think you say. A lot of people from stage, they lack the certainty
Right.
So they push the guarantee.
Right. They lack the confidence
in their own product.
In their own product, big time. A lot of them lack that confidence.
In the product they're
or they're
pitching
delivering.
or presenting.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you know that you can deliver and you have that passion, desire, as you can see, we both have passion. We both have desire for what we do. That bleeds that message across to your audience. And getting on stage, we show how to push that passion, how to push that desire, and really dig in deep so you can relay it. However, if you're bought into your product, it's going to come out most of the time naturally.
Russell Whitney, Ask the Expert, expertmentor.com. This is Ask the Pro. This is what I do every week. If you're a pro, if you're a professional, if you're an expert, if you're the best in your space and you can transfer that information by communication, come sit in this chair with me like he did today. If Russell can help you in any way with your events, your marketing, your branding, to make you look better on stage, to ring that register.
Yes.
Okay? I don't know, maybe you're not certain enough.
Could be, but we'll help build that certainty. When they see numbers, that's a good thing. When I show somebody numbers and I show somebody like a Dolmar and other success stories that I have.
Dude, if you can do it for Dolmar.
I can do it for anyone.
No. Dude, it's like, come on, man. This is almost full.
But once you see the numbers, then they start to get excited. Once they have that support, which we will give them the support, they will have success following our system. Just like a client I'm working with right now, the guy has amazing expertise in stock, unbelievable, but he's a trainer. He's not a closer at the end of the day. And he thinks he could sell from stage, and it's like, no, dude, your events are bombing. Let me help you put the right position and person in place. I showed him a real speaker. The guy called me on the phone and said, you know what, Russell, you're right. I need somebody else to take over and convey my message because I'm not that closer at the end of the day. He's an analytical sales person from stage. Doesn't mean those guys can't sell. He just doesn't have that, I guess, what it takes to position the skill.
He doesn't have
exactly.
the skill.
Yes, I
Russell
appreciate
Whitney,
it.
thank you so much. Thank you for watching Ask a Pro. Again, if you know someone, maybe it's you, maybe you know them intimately, they can come sit in this chair and communicate a real professional understanding of your space, call Robert Sislow. If you have any questions for Russell, please post in comments. If you got any things that you want to know from him, I'm happy to get the information to you.